And welcome to Prep Rally Live.
On tape.
Where you've never looked better, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So if you're wondering why we have on this Get Up Day, of course, why is this, Ricky?
It's our Halloween edition.
Halloween edition. Now, what are you dressed up as? This is what you normally look like, but I thought you were supposed to wear a mask today.
That's it. This is what I look like when I first get up. I go from an ugly duckling to beautiful swan.
Put it back on. Put it back on. Put it back on. And in case you're wondering what I am, I'm a Dallas Cowboys football fan. There you go.
Oh, my goodness. They got problems.
What a better, well, I mean, you couldn't have a better thing than this. They've replaced the old Aints with this, the Dallas Cowboys. There you go. Get you some of that, Dallas Cowboy fans. This is what you guys are looking like this year. So, anyway. You shouldn't.
A veteran bald-headed sport with the goatee.
You shouldn't see this on an empty stomach, should you?
Okay, all right. We calm down.
Absolutely. So we are here to bring you a little preview for this Friday night's big games, including the game of the week brought to you by West, Termite, Pest, Lawn. If you have a trick-or-treater you want to get rid of, call these people right there.
Call these people right there.
They get rid of all kinds of bugs and trick-or-treaters, so just call them. They take care of it. So, Ricky, our big game this week that I'm going to be going to over at Rogers, going to play a good football game against Harbor this week. Going to be a good one. Now, Ricky, before the season started, you would look at this and go, that's just a win for Harbor, easy win. But you know what? No, this is going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't seen Harbor. I think you've seen a couple times. I've seen Rogers at least twice. And they got an excellent offense led by Christian Francisco.
Yes, sir.
Senior quarterback.
Absolutely.
Their passing game is exceptional. Now, the problem is, they got good receivers, not just one guy. They've got 3 or 4 guys, and they can run the ball when they need to. But I don't know about defense.
That's the problem.
If they can stop Harbor.
That's the problem. Now, Rogers played Bentonville last week. Huge Benton County rivalry for many, many years. Almost as old as you are, maybe. But anyway, big game. And Bentonville came out swinging, from the get-go. They didn't stop. They put 14 points on the board in the first, Ricky, 21 seconds of the game. It's 14-0 Bentonville, and their quarterback still hadn't taken a snap yet.
I mean, what kind of a quarterback? Hey, I'd like to coach that team that you already had 14-0 before you even get on the field.
Yes.
How many points they end up scoring?
Well, they end up scoring 7,000, I think, or it might have been 74, something like that.
74 points.
But they put 74 up, so it's 14-0. Bentonville, 21 seconds in. But you know what? Rogers, they came back. They put 21 points on the board in the first quarter themselves.
Now, let's remember, Bentonville is number 3 in the state.
Number 3 in the state.
I mean, and we're looking forward to them to see what they do in the postseason. Bryant is undefeated, number 1. They've won about 30 games in a row. North Little Rock.
Yep.
But I tell you what, Bentonville is right up there.
They are.
That's more of a about Bentonville, how good they are, than how Rogers is. Rogers not bad.
Exactly. So, taking a look at Harbor. Now, you're going to look at on paper, Rick, and you go, well, Harbor's lost 4 games. They're only 4-4. They've lost 4 games. Well, Rick, let's take a look at who Harbor's lost to.
Who they lost to?
Jinx, Oklahoma.
Ooh, powerhouse over there.
It gets better. North Little Rock.
Who we just talking about, number 2 in the state.
Bentonville.
Number 2 or 3. Yeah, what poll are you looking at?
And Greenwood.
And Greenwood, which is number 1 in 6A.
Yes.
Wow.
So, Rick, I don't know what Jinx's record is. I need to look that up. But I'm going to tell you right now, North Little Rock, Bentonville, and Greenwood haven't lost a game. Okay? That's their 4 losses right there. So, any of those 4, talking with Chris Wood, any of those 4 could win a state championship.
Yeah.
So
Jinx is a powerhouse. I don't know if they've lost a game or 2, but those 3 teams, they're probably combined 24-0?
Well, something like that, or something in 0. They hadn't lost a game.
Yeah.
So Harbor, you hate to say this, Rick, are they the best 4-4 team in the state? I know. But they're a pretty good team.
They're a pretty good team.
And they've won 4 in a row. And what they're doing, I talked about this on our podcast, what Harbor's doing, Chris Wood, if he finds something that works, He's not like me. He's not trying to always reinvent the wheel. He sticks with it.
Sticks with it.
So what they have found, and you know this, Rick, you've covered Harbor a lot of years, and we've seen them a lot of years, when they've had their best teams, it's when they've had a really strong hammer at the running back and played good defense. Well, they've got that. They've got that hammer in sophomore Hudson Brewer, had 250 yards last week.
His dad was a great player at
Yes, he was.
Springdale High.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
So they found that hammer running back, and their defense is playing really well. Lights out. Last 4 weeks, they've given up 56 points in 4 ball games. So I don't care who you're playing. Do that math, Ricky. 56 divided by 4 is a low number.
So something.
Yeah, it's a low number.
That's close we can get. It's something. You know what? We got to get. I think we talked about on our podcast. You got to give Chris Wood a lot of credit.
Yes.
A team. Harbor got beat 33-0 by Greenwood. At Greenwood replacement game. They looked for a game.
Exactly.
And they said we got to play. You don't want to play Greenwood unless they said they went down there and played them.
Yeah.
And they got beat. They know that their heads are down. They're dragging a little bit. But Chris got them back up, and they boosted their confidence again. And now they're right back at it.
Well, and what they've also gotten, not only have they leaned on their defense, which is good, they found that running game, but also Drew McClendon, their quarterback, he's gotten a little bit better every game. Early in the season, boy, he was trying to make a play every time, trying to throw a touchdown pass every time, and throwing a lot of picks and that kind of thing. And I think Coach Wood
like
and they've
Cowboys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've coached him up. He's taken what the defense has given him, learning how to do that a little bit better, using his legs a little bit more, and something else, Rick, we didn't really talk about this. Harbor's played all season long without Arrington McCray. I mean,
the big tight end.
Yeah,
going to Memphis.
Exactly. How I don't care how deep you are when you're losing a D1 prospect at tight end.
Yep.
Not only as a pass catcher, which he caught, about 60 balls as a junior, but a blocker. Yeah, because he's big. He's a big old boy.
Yeah, it's big. Man, he can. If you get outside, you got to have Arrington right there. I've seen him last year.
Lay people out, laying them out. Yeah,
lay them out. Yeah.
And so anyway, they haven't had him because he's been hurt. And every week I'll ask Coach Wood about it. He said, "Well, we're hopeful, but he still hadn't played." So anyway, Harbor, much better than their 4-4 record. Rogers, much better team than what last week 74. A lot better team.
Bentonville put that on.
You know what? And props to Mike Lloyd too. He's done a great job over there too this year. They thought they were going to kind of take a dip down because they lost graduated a lot of guys from last year. But Rick, in a lot of ways, they're a lot better team than they were last year, I think.
I tell you what, I mean, their passing game really.
Absolutely.
I think Bentonville West, they were right into it I can't remember, 42-35 score. Yeah. And they were scoring a lot on West, and it just didn't work for them at the end. But no, they're dangerous.
They are.
I'm not going to say they're the best. What did you say? The best 4-4 team?
Well, that's Harbor.
Ever?
Yeah, best 4 or 5. Not ever. I didn't say ever.
Well,
but anyway, they're whatever. But anyway, Rick, who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Springdale Harbor. Yep, I think they're making a comeback.
They're making 5 in a row. So
5 in a row.
5 in a row, and then they'll close out the regular season with a big game again against Fayetteville, the final week of the season. Harbor, Rick, has a chance to roll into the playoffs on a 6-game winning streak. Yeah. So I'm no math major again, but I think that's pretty good. Momentum.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So we got that game going on, Rick. We also got some other big games going on in the region. We're going to skip all the way down to Class 3A.
Oh, yeah.
A team we never talk about. Rick, when was the last time we talked about Paris? It wasn't about volleyball or girls softball, which they've been really good at. When's the last time we talked about Paris football? You want me to answer that for you? Never.
The last time I heard about Paris, I was watching Casablanca.
Yeah.
And the famous line, he says, "We'll always have Paris." Remember that?
Were they going to meet at the Grapevine Cafe or something down
there? Something
Mount
like
Magazine?
Yeah. But anyhow, Paris. They're playing Boonville. We talk about Boonville all the time.
Yes.
They're playing. The winner of this game will have #1 seed
from the 3A4.
Probably win the conference championship.
Yes.
Boonville's won 4 or 5 state championships in the late 80s.
Correct.
Paris ain't won nothing since like 1955.
Yes.
Oh,
they didn't even have face masks on their helmets.
No, they didn't. Matter of fact, they're 8-0 for the first time since 1956.
There you go.
When they finished undefeated. They were the rare team.
There you go.
But Paris, big turnaround. They were 3-7 last year.
Yes, sir.
But they
played
had
a lot of young pups.
A lot of young kids.
A lot of young pups.
All these kids are getting whipped. Now are doing a whipping.
Yes.
So, but I shouldn't say that against Boonville. That's to be determined, right?
No, well, yes, but This is Boonville, Rick, we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
Now, Boonville's lost a couple of games, but they, Stigler, Oklahoma, is very, very good.
Warren, Arkansas.
Warren, very good. That was another one of those games, Rick, that wasn't on the schedule, and
they just
Boonville's opponent needed a game, and
you know why they played?
They ain't scared, Rick. They ain't scared.
We ain't scared. Let's
Doc
play.
Crowley, he's the new coach at Boonville. He's from Charleston. They also, Rick, in Charleston, they ain't scared.
They ain't scared.
So Doc Crowley said, you know what? Get on the bus, boys.
Let's go.
We're going to Warren.
Play.
Let's go play.
Play.
Get on the bus, boys. We're going to Stigler. I don't even know how we're going to get to Stigler, but we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, how do you get I guess you got to cross the river over there.
Something like that. They had a big, they did a ferry and pulled them across the river on the rope, and them and John Wayne was on the back end. I don't know how it works. But anyway, they got there.
They got beat, but you know what? They learned from it.
They did.
And they've lost at 6. They're 6-2.
6-2.
But just dismiss that. Boonville are the champions there. Paris, man, I love you guys. You're 8-0. You've had quite a turnaround. But man, Boonville is still the king of this throne.
Prove him wrong, Paris.
And unless you prove me otherwise.
Prove him wrong. It's not that hard. Prove him wrong.
I'll eat this paper.
There you go. So that's a big game going on. Rick, what else we got going on?
You know what? Yeah, I want to mention Pea Ridge.
Yes, sir.
Pea Ridge.
Are they still playing football at Pea Ridge?
Yes.
They hadn't played since forever.
But you know what? If anything exemplifies COVID-19 is Pea Ridge. They hadn't because of the quarantine and so forth. They hadn't played since October 2nd.
Henry Apple, is the knowledge of
that
the
guy over there. He needs to be here.
He said
checker.
October 2nd when they played Morrilton was the last game that Pea Ridge has played. October 2nd, 1849 was their last game.
That was 3 weeks ago. How do you go without playing? But that's what COVID-19 has done for.
Yep.
But they're back on the field. They're going to play Farmington.
Yes.
And they used to play as non-conference.
Well, they used to be in the same conference until about 6 or 7 years ago when Farmington made the move to 5A.
Okay.
And
that's right.
And they hadn't played, but they played some non-conference. But this will be the first time they've played as conference opponents because Pea Ridge is now up in 5A.
Yep.
So it'll be the first time they've played as conference foes since about 2013, I believe.
Okay, that's right. Well, you was my fact checker, so thank you.
Well, thank goodness for Henry. He's the one who gave me that knowledge. He's talking in my earpiece right now and giving me that knowledge. So you can't see it. It's hidden.
But we're glad to get back on the field. I think probably Farmington gets this game. They've played more, but they've missed some guys too. You never know from week to week who's in quarantine and so forth.
Right.
But hopefully tonight, hopefully they get a chance to get on the field and play some football.
Exactly. Rick, something we talked about on our podcast earlier is it seemed like last week there were fewer games that were across the state that were postponed, which tells me that teams are doing a better job. It's the players are doing a better job of saying, you know what, I'm not going to go to that party Saturday night. I'm not going to do that, and they're staying healthier, and so you're seeing fewer and fewer of these games that are being canceled, and that's great. We got 2 weeks left, Rick, before we get to the playoffs. It's my hope. I hope that in December that we're going to see these teams in the middle of War Memorial hooping and hollering. They may be wearing masks, and that's okay. Lifting those big old oak trophies. And in August, Rick, I didn't think we'd get to this point. I really didn't. I thought, man, we're going to play about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's just going to all just crumble. But man, just such a great job by these school coaches and administrators and the kids and the kids doing what they're supposed to do and that kind of thing. And we just got to stay the course, Rick. We got to stay the course.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We're here in week 9, and during normal circumstances, a lot of teams who don't get in the playoffs, they've got one more game, 9th and then 10th, and they're done with.
Right.
But because of COVID, with a lot of teams, we're going to let a lot of teams in playoffs, which they deserve, because some of them only played 6 games. Let them play as much as they can.
All comers.
All in. Let's go. But some team, if you're 0-10, you may not want to go a first-round game all the way across the state.
Right.
That's your prerogative.
Exactly.
If you don't want to play.
Exactly.
But now I'm looking forward to postseason. I want to see these undefeated Bentonville Tigers, see how they can maybe match up against these teams from Little Rock that have been dominating.
Exactly.
And so I'm ready for postseason, final 2 weeks in postseason football. Let's go.
Well, just keep wearing that mask, and when Rick and I talk about this every week, and not this mask, but one that actually protects you. Although that would protect a lot of people right there. But wear your mask. Rick, we say this every week. It's not about you. It's not about your political affiliation. We don't care.
We don't care
about that. It's about the
don't care.
kids.
I don't
Let's
care.
not lose sight of that. Let's not lose focus about that. It's about these kids, and we need to do everything, continue to do everything we can so that these kids get to keep building their memories. If winning a state championship is meant for them, that they'll get a chance to do that on the field, won't get taken away from them. So just shut up and mask up. How about that?
Exactly. Lifelong memories for these kids. I mean, I've been out of high school 38, 45 years, and I still remember some of that stuff. You do. Anybody who's been involved in sports, every game is just so important to these kids. So get out of the way. Don't do anything to mess it up for them.
Exactly. So that's all I got this week, Ricky. Now, Ricky says, for you trick-or-treaters, if you come to his house, he'll give you some tasty Brussels sprouts and asparagus. It's yummy. And he'll trade you.
It's underrated.
It's underrated. He'll trade you for your Reese's or your Snickers or your
cupcakes
or candied apples or any of that
candied apples.
Stuff that's bad for you. You don't want that's bad for you. You want the asparagus and the Brussels sprouts. It's tasty. So come by Ricky's house. He'll make you a trade, give you the good stuff, and you give him the bad stuff. Can't be better than that, right, Ricky?
That's it. Come on, but BR 549. I'm over here down by the river. That first van on the left. Come on over.
And if you have eggs and toilet paper, he's an easy target. Can't run very fast. Absolutely.
Don't do that.
That's all I got. Rick, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right.
I got nothing.
Game of the week, West Termite Pest Lawn. I'm there. Rogers against Harbor. Going to be a great game. See you then.